guess the first thing to say if we start talking about email and file encryption is that, well, we didn't need to look for one, we already had one. It was called Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. Can you enter your password here? Or can you phone someone up, give them the password over there? All those kind of things that people are actually doing in the business. The reality is that as we started to think about this and as we got more involved as a set of people who look at information, not just IT with the business, we realized that this just wasn't actually working. People were getting confused, people were wondering what file format to send things in, no good at all. So when we heard about some of the work that Camden were doing in terms of going out and actually trying to do a cross-borough procurement in terms of email systems, we were quite keen to get involved. As we started looking at the solutions in that, what we really realized was that we needed something that was simple, easy to use for our users, and I guess that's one of the ways where Egress came in and started to fit the bill. If I was looking for a differentiator in terms of Egress and what we saw during that sort of procurement was simplicity. Let's talk about the solutions to start with generally without going into too much detail. All really good technical solutions, every single one. The reality was at the end of the day, while they might technically do something really well in the back end, we really had to focus as a group on users, how it was actually going to work for the users, whether it would be simple to use or not, and Egress kind of stood out for that. We could effectively give the user a simple one-button solution, make it secure, make it not secure. We could do much more than that, but that's all we needed at the time. We could actually then look at the rules that sat behind it as it processed that mail, as it went out, and most importantly we could look at providing a really simple solution to people on the recipient end, because we knew that if we were going to actually try and sell it internally, okay, simplicity here was good, but the reality was that it would have to be good for the recipient as well. At the end of the day, in terms of Egress Switch and the way we're using it right now, all our end users are really doing is looking at a mail, making a decision on how they want to actually send it, do it securely or insecurely, and actually go from there. It's as easy as that for them, and there's nothing more they have to do. I actually went and I did a demonstration to a group of people in one of our other areas of the council the other day. They were actually quite keen, not sending secure email, but actually on using it to actually send things as part of a procurement process, to do that internally so that people couldn't open things before certain dates. I went down there, we booked a whole hour in the diary to run through the process. How long did it take me? 5 minutes. It was as easy as that. So for me, it actually makes my life a lot easier as well. At the end of the day, one of the things we're looking at as well is how we can actually move forward, and I mentioned around that kind of determination the system can take around mails and how we can actually use that to send things securely. At the moment, I've got two ways of sending secure email. I've got Egress, I've got the governmental networks, and users spending a lot of time making choices about which way to do that. With products like the Switch Gateway sitting at the back end, I can start to look at how that product actually makes the determination for them so that they send it securely first time, every time, rather than having to think about how to work. If you think around some of the costs and how we may have saved money with it, well, it's always hard to give figures on these kind of aspects, but at the end of the day, let's give an example of how people were working. If you take people who are dealing with various aspects relating to legal cases, relating to dealing with children who had special educational needs, these people had a lot of paperwork. They were actually working on the computer in the office, printing the stuff out, taking it with them somewhere. There's obviously risks that come along with that in terms of data protection. They might actually lose it in unfortunate circumstances. But they're actually taking that with them. They're taking it to another office, and quite often they're then handing it or working with a partner who then actually sits there, takes the paper, takes the information, retypes it, and it goes into another computer again. That's got to be inefficient to start with. At the end of the day, the other side to it is it also brings in some risks, because not only do you have that thing around the paper actually moving around everywhere, you've also got the fact that people can actually type things wrong. So the whole thing around the integrity of the information, keeping it accurate, gets at risk. If you have a solution like Egress, you can actually start to say, well, how do we actually send that? And one of the things that we started looking at was how actually to send large files with Egress to avoid all the paper printing out. And that's actually been really useful for us. We've actually managed to get rid of a lot of paper wandering around, a lot of processing and a lot of reprocessing by using something simple like Egress. It's always a dangerous question to sort of think around what a company does well and what it perhaps doesn't do so well. With Egress, one of the things for me is that the experience has actually been a good one. It's never an experience I've actually thought, why did we work with these people? Has there been a problem? Will they actually not listen to me if I've got an issue? One of the things I've found with Egress is they've actually been extremely responsive. So before I mentioned around things like transferring files and large files, when we had that issue, Egress had a solution in place that we could have used. It's the Egress Cloud. Really good way to do it, but we wanted something that was hosted on our own premises. So we actually spoke with Egress, we worked through how that would be configured. They gave us some simple configuration and setup to do. They assisted us with getting things right in the back end as well. What looked like something quite complex to deliver actually became something that was really simple to deliver and quite quick to deliver. So that's one element I think that Egress has been really helpful to us. The other side is where we've had issues in terms of explaining the solution to our partners. And while Egress is a really simple solution to use, I guess one of the key things for us is that some partners tend to want to adopt secure mail more than others. Egress have always been really keen to actually come and work with us and actually assist and help us in actually moving forward, explaining things to our partners, and they've been really proactive in doing that. We've got limited time here. Obviously, as a company, Egress have got limited time as well, but they've always been really generous in actually providing that to us. In terms of the future, in terms of Egress and how we might actually end up using it, I think one of the things for us is more around that automation side. I think if we can start to get that really right, start to actually take some of the choice away from our users, give them the choice when they need it, but actually take a lot of that away and make it more automated, I think that's really exciting for us. I think the other element that's really important for us at the moment as we've started to look at mobile working is actually using a lot more mobile technology, so things like iPads, etc., to actually get information out there to make it more mobile for our users. That sort of stuff is really exciting, and we know that with Egress we've actually got a client and a solution that can work in that environment. The other element for us that's potentially interesting in terms of Egress is actually doing things more automatically as well. So if our systems can actually potentially send out secure emails to our customers that can actually work really well. Happens automatically, happens in the background, easy for the customer, secure for us, so we know that we're building a trust relationship with them. That's potentially interesting to us as well.